Recording in progress. Quiet on the set. No?
Like no one in our house.
I mean,
Anyways,
the dog's back here, but she's deaf, so she couldn't hear me say be quiet.
right.
Right.
So,
How are ya?
I'm good. Can I do our intro?
Sure.
Welcome to the Off the Cuff podcast. I am Ashley DeWeese. That is my bearded beau. It's getting a little long. Justin DeWeese over there.
That's gonna be my thing. Since you do the spoon
You want
hands,
to look like a moose?
I'm a, sure, why not?
That's what that looks like,
Mooses are awesome.
I guess. Is moose, isn't, what's the plural?
Mooses.
No.
Moosin.
Don't Google it. I really don't
I'm
care
not
that
Googling.
much,
I'm
but
putting do not
I
disturb on my phone.
uh, got a lot of people who may disturb you.
Well, I get a lot of notifications and it keeps me from looking at my phone so that I can focus on recording the best married couple podcast on the face of
In
the
all the
planet.
land, in all the land. I was
All of
thinking
the
today
land.
that although this is off the cuff, um, maybe we should go off the cuff a little bit in some upcoming episodes and maybe plan out some typical things regarding marriage and the health journey and personal growth, etc., that people might encounter that they don't know how to navigate. But
But if you plan it out, is it really off the cuff?
well, I don't mean plan out.
No, I'm just asking. I'm just
I
asking,
don't
man.
know.
Don't.
It can still be off the like we can still have like a set topic and it be off the cuff. Like today we're going to talk about grilled cheese. Like we could know that ahead of time and then come in and the conversation is still off the cuff because we haven't had it before, right?
Sure.
So,
I learned the other day that I've been half-assing grilled cheese my whole life since you brought it
how
up.
how so?
Well, because this guy, it's one of those Instagram foodie things, but he was saying, well, I think it's the guy that gets kind of aggressive and like, don't get up. You know
Oh
the guy
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah. I
about?
like him though. I love him.
Yeah, I do too. I just wish he didn't curse so much because then we could show the kids. And anyway,
I know it's catch 22.
he puts three different kinds of cheeses in his grilled cheese to
Okay.
get the blend of flavors and
Right.
whatnot. And I've always just been a one flavor cheese kind of guy for my grilled cheese.
Well, see, here's how I feel about that. Pause. Ask me about my grilled cheese story, but like I I don't know. I'm the kind of person that there's some things I'm willing to make at home and there's other things like that's got to be at a restaurant kind of thing. Like salads. Salads never taste as good at home as they do elsewhere, right? And I feel the same way about grilled cheese. Like grilled cheese at home, I'm going to make it with one kind of cheese and that's my wheelhouse. But me making grilled cheese at home that has multiple kinds of cheese, I just don't think that would go very well and I don't think it would taste like it does.
Oh,
I'm more adventurous out somewhere else, like out at restaurants than I am like
sure.
at home.
She really is, folks. And if you doubt me, just put in the comments and ask her how she's more adventurous when we go to international resorts. But on the grilled cheese thing, like my thing is, I think it would taste amazing at home. And the same thing with salads, right? But like for salads, you got to do a lot of extra prep to get like the fancy kind of salad that you would at a restaurant, right? Like, do I really want to slice this apple?
Well, no, I'm not even I'm just talking about like a basic, even a basic house salad, for example, that's literally just like some romaine and maybe some tomato, like nothing that you have to prep and dressing. Like it just never tastes as good as it does out for me.
Huh. But on the grilled cheese thing, one of the cheeses he used was Gruyere or however
Like some
I can't
cheese
even
you've never
pronounce
heard
it.
of.
Well, I've heard of it. I just don't ever know how to pronounce it.
You got to be
But
careful with cheeses though, because like there's like some stinky cheeses. There's cheeses that like taste nasty.
well,
See, that's
yeah, of
another
course.
reason. Like I'm not gonna touch that one at home because I would
Well,
end
that's
up
that's
getting
why
the
he
wrong
that's why he
cheese.
named the three cheeses that you should use,
So
right? But
you
my
could
point
follow him,
my point is, unless I'm eating a lot of grilled cheese, like I'm gonna buy that Gruyere or
right?
what, however, and it's
And
gonna go bad.
I
So I'm gonna have like
guess.
one amazing grilled cheese sandwich and then expensive trash.
Do you think that that is a uh somewhat like do you think if we made like ungodly amounts of money, we would feel the same way about like, oh, I'm not gonna purchase that cheese just for this one time to make grilled cheese because it'll go to waste? I wonder
Yeah,
that
I mean, I
sometimes. Like if you had ungodly amounts of money, like would you care as much?
I mean, I'd like to think so.
I wouldn't. And not that I want to be wasteful, but like I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I don't know. Like we're not hurting, but like I want to make sure I get all the ketchup out of the ketchup bottle.
Yeah. Oh, talk about things that drive me insane. Like your habits as far as like needing to scrape out the peanut butter jar so we get all of it or the ketchup thing. I don't know. I don't get it. See, here maybe is the difference between you and me. Like I have come to a place where I'm not looking at like, hey, I paid $8 for this food item. I better eat it all in order to get the full value out of it. I'm looking at it as I paid $8 for this thing that I wanted the taste of on whatever I'm making. And as long as I got that, like, I guess an easier way to put it is like if I buy an $8 ice cream, but I only eat like a third of it, does that mean like I wasted my money? Well, no, because I wanted the ice cream. I ate the
Sure,
amount that
of
I
course.
wanted. But I think some people don't look at it that way. They're like, if I paid $8 for this, like you're going to eat the whole thing. And I feel the same way about condiments or stuff.
I can understand that from a certain standpoint. I still want to waste things. Like I'm not like trying to squeeze all the value out of it, but like you would throw a ketchup bottle away and be like, "Man, there's like 4 hamburgers worth of ketchup on in there yet."
No, no, I wouldn't because I love ketchup. But anyways, it's just my grilled cheese thing, I saw it yesterday. First of all, I love watching food videos online. Like,
Well, of course.
and I'm on honestly, sometimes it makes me upset that we didn't have this level of social media in regard to like food creation videos before we got like uber focused on being healthy people. Not that we can't have the things now, but they're just all over the place that there's times where I'm like, ooh, I want to make that. And I'm like, ooh, that's not part of the structure right now. Um, or I don't eat that anymore. And so part of me is like upset that it wasn't around
Sure.
previously, but then I'm also like, it's probably a good thing that it wasn't around previously because I would I would have been way more out of shape and unfit
Well, I
than I
guess,
was.
you could look at it from a standpoint of you to have that much more shocking of a transformation.
I guess. But anyways, I love to watch them. I can get caught up in them, even if they're like unhealthy. But this girl, she goes around and she goes around to like different fast food restaurants and whatnot, and she either like orders things that aren't on the menu that people don't know about, or she'll order things that are like a hack to either save you money or to get you more food, like those kind of things. Anyways, yesterday, and sometimes I'm just honestly, I am like grossed out by the thing. I'm like, how are you even eating this? Why do you even eat this? But she went to Five Guys. This one I saw yesterday. She went to Five Guys, which did you know that they always have Five Guys in the store?
No?
Yeah. She was like, we always count to make sure they have Five Guys. So I didn't dig into that. I don't know if like that's actually a thing, like that's part of the Five
I mean, it
Guys
would make
thing.
sense.
It does make sense. I just didn't know it. Um, but she went, and I guess the hack there is you order um a instead like when you order the hamburger, you order a grilled cheese to be used as the top and the bottom for the burger. So not just like because like
Right.
a burger obviously has cheese on it, but a grilled cheese is going to have the cheese grilled to
Right.
the bun or the bread. And so that's what she ordered was a grilled cheese to then be used on the top of the bottom. And then she put together, which two things that grossed me out, or not grossed me out, but I was like, it was a double hamburger. So it was huge.
Sure.
Two, I was just looking at it with like all the stuff, and I'm like, I would never eat that. But three, she was like, it's kind of pricey, but it's definitely worth trying. $17. $17 because I'm sure they pretty much charge. I mean, they charge you for a grilled
Right. You
cheese.
probably get charged for a grilled cheese and a hamburger.
Right. So $17 for it. But anyways, that was one of the little hacks that
I
she
mean, I can
shared.
get on board with that.
I'm sure I love grilled cheese, but not in that capacity.
Grilled cheese is a bun. Mm.
Grilled cheese, mac and cheese.
Yep. Grilled cheese, mac and cheese.
There's something
Uh,
else I think I was going to tell you, but I don't remember about the food videos. Now, I will say, because we do talk a lot about health on here. Um, if you're someone that doesn't have a pretty good handle on your nutritional habits right now, I do want to tell you that it's probably not a good idea to have your social media feeds showing you these kind of videos, or even just like it always kills me when I know women, whether they're working with me or they're not working with me, but maybe I'm acquaintances of them on social. But it always kills me when I know like they're working on their health journey and have had struggles or having struggles, and yet they share like unhealthy food recipes, unhealthy. And I'm like,
right.
you're not doing yourself any favors.
Right. Yeah. You're like intentionally playing the game on a harder level difficulty than it needs to be.
Right. I mean, it's like if you're trying to, I don't know, if you're trying to quit gambling or something, and yet you keep looking up things on DraftKings or sharing
Right. Right.
bets in Vegas and whatnot, like you're just keeping it in front of your face, the thing that you're trying to like lessen in your life. So, anyways, just a little random thing right there.
Well, and there needs to be a line drawn, so to speak, right? Because not every recipe that you're going to see on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, is bad for you. Like some of them, like if they crunch up Doritos and put it in there, like you shouldn't be eating that. Like that's just a terrible idea. I'm sure it's tasty because they've scientifically manufactured Doritos to like hit all your little pleasure centers.
Right.
But for the stuff that is made, like recipes made from Whole Foods and all the good stuff, like the trap you could fall into is like, oh well, it's I made it at home and it's all Whole Foods and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
so it's not a big deal. You still need to be conscious of what that meal in front of you means, right? Because even if it's made from all natural whole food stuff, if you're sitting down and having 1,000 calories worth at dinner, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Well, right. And it's again, this is why like the journey, it's a multi-layered onion, right? And it's why, you know, in the world that we live in today, where we have a wealth of information at our fingertips coming from all sides and all angles and perspectives and all levels of credibility or not, it's just another reason why it's important for each of us to be a critical thinker, for each of us to really get to know ourselves. Um, what are our vices? What are our habits? What are our struggles? What are we working towards? What matters to us? Like just learning yourself back in front and having really great clarity on what it is you want because of that. Um, because people will tell me often, people will reach out, women reach out and they're interested in getting some help. And when I start asking them about, well, tell me a little bit, because contrary to probably some coaches or programs out there, like when someone reaches out, there's a little bit of a process that goes on conversationally before this person is ever able to sign up with me. And that's just so I get a better idea of what's the deal here? Like, tell me about you. What's this look like for you? What does life look like now for you? And when it comes to asking about their nutrition, one of the most automated responses that I get is like, well, I eat pretty decent.
Right.
And first of all, at this point in the game, I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what does that mean? You don't even know what that means. You don't even know what
Right.
that means. And really, it's kind of like, it's like on a rating scale, like 1 to 10. Like, if you don't want to speak too highly of yourself, because you know that like you're not that good, but yet you also don't want to admit that maybe you're not that great either. you like choose seven because seven is like that safe number. So I feel like seven on a rating scale is the same thing when people are like, well, I eat pretty decent. Like, I don't want to divulge to you that, like, you know,
Right.
I I eat salads and whatever during the week, and then I binge and drink alcohol on the weekend. Like, I don't want to admit that, but I digress. But yeah, like they'll be like, oh, well, I eat pretty well. What does that mean? Oh, well, and they'll start telling me about really like how little they consume. And of the things that they consume, it appears to be often uh healthy stuff more often than not. But they have no idea how much of that they're eating, or they make assumptions that because it looks like they're not eating a lot, that they're not
Right.
eating a lot, right? And this is where, you know, I think we went through a phase, and maybe we're still in it, I don't know, where society wanted to like simplify the process of health, right? I don't want to have to think about it. I don't want to have to be educated on it. Like, I just want to do the thing. And I was one of those people, like, just give me the freaking plan. I just want to follow it and get results. And that's not a problem for a short period of time. But for long term, for a lifestyle, you actually need to be in the know a little bit.
Right.
And that's where so many women, like, and men too, I'm sure, go wrong because, like you said, like, you don't actually know what you're eating. So, great, you're eating a big old salad, but oh my gosh, your eyes just crossed. Like,
Well, because I had something hanging off my hat, so I had to.
but yeah, like just because you're eating a big old salad that you ordered from Applebee's, don't get me started on Applebee's. There could be 1,200 calories in just
Right.
that salad
Right.
for one of your meals for the day. So just because it's a healthier option or has healthier items on it, you can overeat on that stuff. Nuts.
Go on.
You're so stoic. No, but like nuts is one of those that like people like you can over like you can't just eat an entire bag of cashews and think that that is okay because they're cashews. Nuts are healthy for you, and they are,
Right. You
but
can't have the
not
whole
in those
sack of nuts.
quantities.
Right.
Now, you can pretty much eat as many vegetables as you want. You honestly can eat as much fruit as you want. Like, and again, there's lots of layers and nuances to it.
Well, it goes back to, a little bit ago, you were saying you got to learn and you got to know about yourself and you got to constantly be learning and asking about yourself, right? It's the
Yeah, I
same
don't think I
thing.
ever actually answered the original question or
Well, I
point.
mean, do you ever? Like, we
I
just
do.
kind of
I get
split
there
them out.
eventually.
But it's the same thing, right? And that's where I think a lot of people steer themselves wrong with wanting to get in shape and eat better and whatnot. That they think that I'm gonna ask this question, how do I get in shape and eat better? And it's just gonna have one answer, and that answer is what the answer is, right?
Yeah.
But what we've discovered over the course of 10, 12, 13, however many years we've been working on this together is you constantly learn new things and you constantly need to be aiming higher and higher, right? So like, when we first started out, like it was a big accomplishment to not drink soda anymore,
Right.
right? And we were sort of okay with the rest of it. Hey, we're not going to drink soda anymore. And then it became the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and it just gradually improves over time and you learn not only about the food and the exercise, but again about yourself, right? Because there are things that we've tried that like, oh, I don't ever want to have that ever again, or I don't want to go down that road. I want to, figure out a different solution for this particular problem. Um, and so it's really, to quote Ted Lasso, be curious.
Yeah.
Right? Don't get stuck into thinking that you know everything and you've got the answers and you're good. You can stop.
Well, and also understanding that you are not me. And you are not the person that is like fit as a fiddle and has been on their path for 12 years, for example. Because sometimes I think what gets lost in translation, and I believe there are even like coaches and influencers out there that are guilty of speaking in this way that I'm about to share and not really coming around to the other piece of it. Because look, like you can look at someone that is fit and healthy and has the body that you like and the lifestyle that you like, and you could look at them and it may look like they don't track their food. It may look like they eat pretty much whatever they want, like
Right.
if like they eat healthy and whatnot. They eat mostly whole foods and unprocessed foods, but if they want to have the ice cream, they have the ice cream, or they have, and so it may look like, oh wow, like I can look like that and have all of that freedom and flexibility and things right now at 222 pounds.
Right.
And I'm sure there's people out there that would disagree with me, but I come at this from the standpoint of, for the most part, people that you see that fit that bill, that's what they're able to do now because of the work that they put in
Right.
years ago, right? Like that you talk about like discipline equals freedom. Like the more discipline you have early on in your journey, the more freedom and flexibility you create for yourself later on. There's lots of there, and this is why with social media, like you have to be able to look at social media with a critical eye as well. There's videos out there that have hooks that say something that basically like, here's how I look like this without counting calories,
Right.
tracking
Right.
macros, doing anything like that, right?
Here's how I look like this, eating a ding dong every day.
And it can lead people to believe that, oh wow, like I don't need to pay attention. I don't need to know how many calories I'm consuming. I don't need to know um
Right.
if I'm consuming way more carbs in my diet than I am protein or fats or what. And the truth of the matter is, for most people, and I continue to say like most people because I don't know everyone's story. Like maybe there's
Right.
something I don't know about. But like for most people, no, the reason that they're able to not count calories and not do macros right now is because they did at some point in their journey and they
Right.
just became so good at it. It's not something that they actively have to like enter
Right.
into a macro tracking app or something they have to actively like write down and figure out because they've learned and they can
Right.
just do it. Like many things in your life right now that are just automatic, you just do it. At some point, you probably had a step-by-step thing. At some
Right.
point, you had to learn how and you did it differently than you do now, but because you've done it so much and you know so much about it, like you don't have to do all those steps. And so that's where some people get led astray is they think it's supposed to be so flexible and just so easy and not really a lot of work to lose the weight or change their physique and that they get to have their cake and eat it too from the beginning. And I just take the angle that that's not true. Like there's things that you have to sacrifice and do up front in order to afford that for
Right.
yourself later on. And also going back to the like getting to know yourself, everybody's different as far as what kind of results they want and when they want them.
Right.
There are some people who would rather take the really fucking long way through their weight loss just so they can like have indulgent desserts throughout so that they rarely have to say no to
Right.
stuff that they want to eat throughout the process. Can they still lose the weight? Of course. I mean,
Sure.
people have done it, right? But then there's people like me that I don't want to take the scenic route in my weight loss journey. I don't want to take the scenic route. Like I'm tired of looking and feeling this way. Give me the most direct path, even though that means I'm going to have to be more disciplined. I'm going to have to make some temporary sacrifices now. Like give me that route so
Right.
that I can look and feel better sooner and then have more flexibility later on. And so you have to know yourself, because what I encounter with women is they don't, and they don't have that clarity. And they think about the process. This is another thing we could talk about, is making decisions for yourself in your health journey based on who you are now versus making decisions for yourself right now based on who you want to be. Because
Right.
if I'm coming in out of shape and overweight, and I make decisions based on who I am right now, well, of course, I'm going to be like, well, most people are going to be like, well, yeah, like I don't want to give up like chips and margs with my friends. I don't want to like not have pizza night with the family every Tuesday and Thursday night. Like I want to still have ice cream and do the things.
Right.
Okay, but I'm making those decisions based on the person I am right now, who's like, yeah, I do want to lose the weight. I do want to look better, but I also I like my food. I like my wines. But that's based on the you right now. How about the you that's lost the weight? How about the you that's in shape? How about that version of you? Like, what would he say? What would she say? You need to make decisions for yourself right now based on the version of you that you want to be.
Right.
And many women aren't. And so, like I said, like women can sometimes come in and they're like, well, yeah, I want to lose this weight. And then yet they still want to they don't want to be 100% committed. And then they get pissed off because the progress isn't happening quick enough. And it's like, hey, babe, like this ain't how it goes. Like, if you want to take the scenic route, cool, but you need to understand that your results are going to happen much more slowly than someone
Right.
who says, give me that direct flight.
Right. Well, and I'll just say this, even with the direct flight, like I think you also need to keep space in your brain for the fact that it's going to take longer than you think it's going to take.
For sure.
Right. And I think I'm pretty sure it was Alex Hormozy that tweeted this out the other day. He said, the long way is the shortcut,
Yeah,
which I
it
really
is.
liked because like we way too often look for the shortcut and it doesn't actually provide any sort of long-term results or benefits that we're looking for, right? And so like I said, I really like that mental framework of the long way is the shortcut because it just prepares you mentally for the fact that it's not going to be as easy and as short as you think or would like,
But it will
but you get
actually
there.
come about faster than
Right.
you think as
Right.
well, right? And the other thing is honestly like asking yourself, you know, why is it that you don't want to commit for the long haul, right? Because really it is for a lot of people like a form of self-sabotage, jumping from thing to thing instead of just making a commitment to stay devoted to the thing in front of you, as long as
Right.
it's not like a total ass plan, right? Like if you were like, because you think about, and I used to be one of these people, so I speak from experience, how much time and money and mental energy and physical energy did I waste trying
Right.
to lose weight, when had I just picked a decent, healthy plan or program to commit to and stick with, and maybe not even be 100% with, but like 90% with, and just commit to that over the long term? Like, so many people would make so much more progress than what they're doing as they hop around to all these other things. But yet, it's like the hardest thing for people to grasp because they don't want to make that full on commitment, and they just end up screwing themselves over and over and over again. They sabotage, is what it is.
Right.
Instead of just buckling down and saying, I'm going to be on this path, this is what I'm doing. I just shared about this, I think just yesterday, maybe, is like, you would behoove yourself if you just decided, here's what my goal is, figure out the plan or the blueprint, get the help, the coach, hire the coach that can give you a proven and healthy blueprint for yourself. And then what the majority of your focus should be on is mastering that process, mastering the components of that process, right?
Right.
Like, master showing up and following through with your workout schedule each and every day. Show up and master consistently meal prepping week to week. Show up and master adhering to your nutrition plan for all of your meals. And again, you're not necessarily going to be perfect, but like focus on mastering the actions that
Right.
leads you to that goal. But that's not what most people are doing and or talking about. It's just we get these messages of like, hey, if getting healthier like doesn't feel like fucking rainbows and bunnies most of the time, you're doing it wrong. Screw
Right.
you. No, that ain't how it goes. And we create these false narratives for people who think this is supposed to be like a lovey-dovey fest every single day. No, it's
Right.
hard. It's
Well,
uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. It's supposed to challenge you and be hard. Like, quit
right.
looking for the rainbows every day.
And we need to wrap up because I got to get running. But I read something the other day that applies directly to that, right? Like, so we have this negative connotation, negative view of work, right? If I
Yeah,
have
I
to,
think I sent you that thing.
no, you
Or I
didn't.
sent,
It's in
okay,
it's in a book I'm
okay,
reading. So nice
okay.
try.
Well, I sent you
But
something this morning about it.
it's probably along the same sort of thing, right? That that what this guy put forth in this book was we have these negative thoughts of work and whatnot, but the reality is, and this was a Christian book, and if you're not a Christian, sorry, kick rocks. But what this guy said was even in the Garden of Eden, if you read Genesis 1, he told Adam to work in the Garden of Eden. So absolute paradise, nothing wrong, nothing bad. And it's like, you need to work and take care of this place. So like work is central to the human experience. But then we get to something like losing weight and getting in shape and think, oh, I don't want to have to work at it all the time. Well, tough
Right. That shouldn't be
shit.
work. Your worth is found in the work, by the
Right.
way. Your worth is
Boom.
found in the work. So stop hating on it and start appreciate what stop hating and start appreciating. Isn't that what what's his face says?
That is what what's his face said.
Okay, on that note, funny how we went from grilled cheese to this, but
Hey,
it's
it's what
how
we
we
do,
do.
babe.
It's what we do here. So, anywho, we would love to hear one nugget, like your biggest takeaway from the episode, what stuck with you, what resonated with you, and put it into action.
Right.
Because taking in a bunch of information but never implementing anything is just, it's not doing much for you other than
Right.
like
Or if there's
hyping you up.
something that we brought up that you want us to dig more into,
Or that we didn't bring up that you want us to
right,
dig
let us
into.
know and
Let
we'll
us
do it
know.
because we love y'all.
And it's off the cuff, so we can talk about
Right.
whatever
It
the
is
frick we want.
off the cuff, even when it's planned.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Peace.